You're listening to She's the Business podcast. In today's episode, we're talking about the 3 essential parts to your client attraction strategy. So if you're not currently attracting enough clients or the right clients, then this episode is for you. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and over the last 25 years in marketing and business, I've helped many brands to launch, scale, and grow, with some of them becoming multi-billion-dollar companies. I'm here to inspire you to get out of your own way and create a profitable, fulfilling business while living the lifestyle you really desire, without all the hustle. So I bring you She's the Business podcast, a unique blend of strategies, tactics, mindset, health, and spirituality, literally everything you need to be the successful leader of your dream business. Made by women, for women, this is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration.
Okay, so today's topic is your client attraction strategy, which of course is a very, very important part of any business. No matter what type of business you have, you need to be very, very certain about how you're attracting clients so that you've got the right people finding you, reaching out, signing up, and staying with you. And if it's not working right now, then it's a sign that something is just out of place, misaligned, or maybe you've even overlooked a little part of your strategy. Now, if you listen to episode 220, which was published a couple of weeks ago, then you would have heard a segment of my live masterclass called The Art of Attracting Quality Clients. Now, I shared in that episode a lot of the why this is important and also what it is not causing your lack of clients, because there's a lot of misunderstanding out there. There's definitely a lot of misinformation out there about the reason why you're not currently attracting clients. So I wanted to clear up a lot of those myths and misconceptions before we actually got to the real piece of what are the bits that you need to have in your business in place, connected, and aligned in order to attract high quality paying clients, committed clients, the sort of clients that you want to have in your business. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. So if you haven't yet listened to episode 220, I do recommend that you do that one first. It's not a long episode. And it does really help to lay the groundwork for today's episode. So you can press pause on this one, go back, listen to that one, and then come back here and continue. Because today I'm going to share with you another part of a recording, my class that I did just a couple of days ago. And here in this episode today, I'm breaking down the framework, the 3 essential parts of your strategy that lead to your client attraction, like what you actually need to be thinking about, what you need to have in place, and really what you need to have nailed in order for it to be working. So today is the bread and butter, the absolute piece that you need to have in your business for your business to be functioning, for it to be healthy, for it to be profitable, and delivering that outcome for you. So this class that I'm sharing with you, another segment of, you can opt in and actually go through the entire class with me. If you want to have the visual experience as well as the audio, where we go through the slides and you can really get the full training, then please opt in for it, because it is a live class. There will be a recording available for you when you opt in at jessicaosborne.com/clients. So come and join me for that one. But if you want a sneak preview into it, like I said, I've been sharing a few pieces of this class, and the last episode was a really important part, and today's episode is the other important part. So let's get started. What is this class about? Well, the art of attracting quality clients, it's really been designed by me specifically to talk to those coaches, consultants, and online services businesses who are feeling like you're always attracting the sort of client that wants everything for nothing, as in they're not valuing your expertise at all. They don't want to pay for it. They want to consume all your free stuff, and they're really price conscious, because they're probably not really the type of clients that are going to help you have a super profitable, easy business. You may also be in a place where You're attracting fans, as in you're growing an audience, but nobody's buying. And in that case, you definitely need to be listening in to this episode. And the other thing is maybe you're actually struggling to attract anyone at all. Maybe you aren't even attracting an audience. And in that case, yes, this is definitely for you as well, because we need these pieces. We need to be able to attract people into our world without going out there searching for them, without hunting them down all over the internet, without having to do cold outreach, which is just, time for money. You have to put in the time. As soon as you stop doing it, then it all stops and dries up. Well, that's not a business, really. That's not a scalable business model, because when you stop doing it, who's going to be doing it? And I've heard so many stories of people who have been effective, like they've figured it out how to do their cold outreach and they themselves have been effective. But as soon as they try to bring in support and offload that to somebody else, it takes a massive dive. And, to be honest, in all the years I've done marketing and had my own business, I've done that without cold outreach. Like, it has been the most ineffective method I've ever experienced. The businesses that I used to work for, when they would say, let's do some cold outreach, let's do, back in the day it was telesales. It's the same thing, whether it's cold phone calls, cold emails, cold DMs, they're all cold outreach. And it was just highly, highly time intensive for very low conversion. And the people that came through from those campaigns were just such low quality leads and clients. So I try to avoid it at all costs. I don't do it in my own business. I don't say to people never do it. Like, there can be a great time to do it. Maybe there's a specific purpose in mind, but I do find if you're going to do any kind of outreach, it works so much better when those people are warm, when they already know you, right? Because there's already a level of recognition and trust in place before you're having a conversation. And really, that's what the whole premise is around this. And I'm going to show you how you can do it without any form of cold outreach, which should be happening if your marketing's working. And even still, if you put in place what I'm sharing with you today and then want to do some outreach on top of that to your existing leads, the warm people, then it will have far better results for you. So without further ado, let me press play on this recording of the segment of the live class for you, and I'll talk to you afterwards. Enjoy. Ruth says, I'm not too concerned because I know I have the qualifications. Yes, you definitely do, Ruth. I know that you have many qualifications. So it's really about the testimonials, that for you is the question. Well, how many do you need and how many do you have? And yes, testimonials are important, but if you just need a couple of testimonials, well, how could you get those testimonials? If we're starting at zero, if we have some testimonials, then why do we think we need more? So how do you attract quality clients? Right, we're into the meaty part of this now. There are three main parts. So I've really simplified this down to just three main parts to your marketing strategy that are required for you to attract high quality, ready to buy clients. You need all three to be in place and fitting together. So I drew this as a wheel because if a wheel was missing a part, or if one of them wasn't in place and connected, then the wheel wouldn't roll smoothly, would it? It would clunk along, like clunk, clunk, because it would be hitting the missing piece, or it just wouldn't really roll well at all. It would be very wobbly and smooth. And it's the same that goes with your business if you don't have these three pieces connected and fitting in place. So would you ever consider hiring a coach or advisor if you're unsure about their expertise? Oh, no, of course not. You know that straight away. You want somebody who's going to lead you and who's going to help you with your business or your life, your health, whatever it may be, who has done it before, who has the experience and expertise to guide you the right way. Apologies for the background noise. If you can hear that, I've got some contractors up on the roof of the house next door with an air blower, so hopefully they're not going to be long. The reason why we need this is because you trust that they're going to help you to get to your goal faster with less painful bumps when they have the expertise. Just like, if you're going to go on a flight across the world, you're going to trust an experienced pilot to get you there safely, as opposed to somebody who you're not sure if they have the experience and expertise. Like, I don't know if I want to get in a plane with a pilot who I doesn't clearly have the expertise. So as we mentioned before, yes, there's a lot of choice, right, in the market out there. There's potentially hundreds of others like you who are jostling for attention, trying to be seen, trying to be visible, and maybe claiming that they have skills in the same niche that you do. So how on earth do you stand out? How do you get selected by the type of clients who are looking for what you do? And how do you be seen as someone with authority? Well, the first critical piece of your wheel of the strategy is your expert zone. This is not a niche. This is a space in the market where you have clear authority. So it's far more than a niche. It's much deeper than that. Quality clients are looking for expertise. They want people who've mastered their craft because they trust in the expertise. And, they're really willing to pay for it as well. And as the market becomes more saturated with more people saying that they have skills in an area, more people saying that they serve with a certain type of client, then there's more and more people who are quality buyers emerging because there's so much choice. They're looking for, well, which one is the best one for me? Which is the best fit? I want someone who really knows what they're doing, as opposed to all these people who kind of don't, or maybe they're not sure if they do. And they also may have tried it before and been burnt by somebody who really doesn't know. So the truth about authority, I think this is really important to understand because there's a lot of mixed messages out there. People who work in PR and media will often say that that gives you authority. Likewise, people say you need qualifications, awards, or social proof to give you authority. But authority isn't caused by any of these things. Authority is communicated by them, for sure, and they might help to convey your authority, but it's not what causes it. Authority is caused by your specialization. Specialization is the result of actually finding your expert zone. So, you already know you need authority to earn trust, and that trust is required for sales. And that is what leads to your quality clients. So specificity, of course, really matters. It matters so much in this. Just a little fact for you because I think this always really highlights how specific we're being. 97% of all registered businesses in Australia are classified as small business. So small business isn't a niche at all. It's the bulk of the market. It's 97%, right? So how many people do you know who say, well, I help small businesses with X? That is not specific. That's not an expert zone. It's not even a niche. Like, it is the bulk of the market. So we can't afford to have really vague and broad niches because we need to go into an expert zone, and the expert zone is not broad at all. It is specific. So you can't afford it because there's other people out there that'll probably have the exact same broad description as you do. When you're, someone who helps anyone who needs this or anyone who needs that. So let's look at some examples of what is specific versus what's not. If you're a coach and you need help with your marketing copy, would you hire a copywriter or would you hire a sales conversion copywriter for online coaches? If you're a 44-year-old woman and you're wanting to progress your career because it feels like it's been stagnant for a while, are you going to look to hire a life coach or a midlife career acceleration coach? I think that hopefully if you put a 2 in the comments, you would say that it's the second one of both of those examples, right? That you would hire if that was who you were and what you're looking for. So what we tend to forget when it's our own business is that we're looking out there at all the different types of people who we can serve and thinking, I've got to have something that's going to be relevant to all of them. Instead of thinking, no, I need to dial in on what it is that they think their problem is and what they're specifically looking for, and actually be brave enough to step into that space, to claim your expert zone and to say it. Kelly also feared that specializing to that degree would mean less clients, less opportunity, and potentially, therefore, the fear is, well, if I do that, I'm going to break my business or it's going to fail, okay? And, I like to share her story just to show you what is possible, because she was the person who was a copywriter. And then when she came in and we worked on what her expert zone was, she stepped into it with a lot of fear, But she found that she had a constant stream of leads and clients as soon as she did that. And then it became what she calls a town demolishing flood that she couldn't keep up with. So her lesson is that instead of being in this perceived state of lack where she was in when she was broad, where she thought she needed to just take any client who came along and be someone who could adapt and work with anybody, it kept her going from month to month, scraping the bottom to pay bills and not having a consistent income, to when she was brave enough to step into her expert zone and claim it. She got the leads and the clients that meant she had far more than she could even manage. So she could then pick and choose which clients she would work with no fear of regret or not being able to pay the bills. In fact, it was an abundant energy that meant that there was more than she could ever even say yes to, even with a pipeline of them. She could absolutely pick and choose. Now, the way this works, because you might be like, well, how does that work? It doesn't seem logical, and it's not logical. It's counterintuitive, but it makes more sense when you understand the principles of magnetic energy, which mean that in order to attract, in order to magnetize those clients towards you, you actually also need to be repelling. And most people are afraid of repelling. They don't want to cancel anyone out of who their target is, which means that while you're not repelling, you're not attracting either. Because while you're not willing to repel, then how you're defining who you work with continues to be broad and general. So the more specific you get, actually, the stronger magnetic pull you have for your clients. So your expert zone is essential. That is the essential, really first piece of your wheel, of the strategic wheel here. It sets you apart from the crowd, gives you visibility and recognition, positions you as an expert, which of course we know brings you authority and trust. And it helps you align with the quality-seeking clients, because there's obviously more authority and trust in that specialization, which means more sales, higher profit, more fulfillment for you. And inside Business Jam, we have a process that you go through in order to define and understand your expert zone, and then actually be able to communicate it in a really simple way so that other people get it as well. It's fine if you understand it, but if you're not communicating it, then the understanding is stopping within you. So part of the challenge, a lot of people find, is actually in how you communicate it. Now, the second part of the wheel is what I call your profitable offer stack. Now, you already know that every successful business has profitable offers. Yes. And the most successful freedom-based businesses have mastered the offer stack strategy because it connects your offers together, which increases your customer lifetime value, which means, of course, like we learned before, it grows your profit, your retention, and it reduces your marketing and sales efforts, which is what's needed for that streamlined business. They include a premium offer, which generates your higher income. That's your cash earner. And it leverages a primary offer, which may or may not be the same, that simplifies your marketing and sales. So you've got that single point of focus for your marketing. So how do you expect to have a wildly successful business if you don't have a profitable offer stack? Here's how it looks in practice, or an example anyway. Your offers are designed individually to be the right fit for your clients and be highly profitable. But importantly, it's also about how they fit together, because it's the overall flow between them and how they operate together. So there are some offer models that may have a low priced, maybe even a loss leader, because it's designed to sell the premium offer. And that's why understanding the offer stack strategy is just so important. You might select, in this case, your mid-tier to be your primary offer for marketing, or you may select your lower tier to be a primary offer for marketing. And that will depend on your particular business, what you're offering, and your market. So it's really important to understand what you have and fit them together so that there is alignment there, as opposed to what a lot of people do is have all these different offers, but they're all singular and separate, which means that when you're doing that, you actually need to be marketing each one, which is, I guess, another lesson that I learned the hard way because interestingly, even though I already had learned that in one of my businesses, I worked for the Royal Bank of Scotland and I'd managed 7 or 8 different brands, 50 websites. It was so much admin in the back end to manage all these different brands and different messaging, different target clients. Everything had to be multiplied. And interestingly, I still made that same mistake in my business a few years back, where I created my offers, but instead of really aligning it together with that one primary offer for marketing, I unknowingly to me sort of created a new brand, and that meant it needed its own marketing systems and its own entire stack and messaging. So luckily, learning that lesson, that was what I had got rid of before we went on our big trip around Australia. So it is simple. It's actually more simple than what we think. And it's about streamlining so it saves your time and reduces your effort and reduces unpaid hours in your business. So Sally said that one of her biggest takeaways from Business Jam was understanding her pivotal role of the low-cost offer she had. She had one, but she'd been going to get rid of it. And then in understanding her offer stack, she realized that it could play a really key role in signing people to her premium offers. So she increased her premium prices by 33% and had been making far more sales because she brought her offers into alignment and had a proper offer stack. So then with that extra revenue, she was reinvesting in her business. She actually hired some people to help her so she could reduce her own time working in the business and paying herself a bigger salary that felt really abundant. So now that you've got authority through your expert zone and an offer stack with profitable offers, how do you get the clients actually signing up? That's probably the big question on your lips. At this point, everyone's asking, well, what activities do I need to do? And maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by all the choice and conflicting advice that you see out there. Maybe overwhelmed by the sheer volume of activities that you're trying to do, right? The never-ending to-do list. It feels like you're never getting there or doing enough. So the third part of your wheel, the third part of that strategy is what I call the client generation machine. So this is where you're connecting a series of sales and marketing. Oh, that's a typo. I should fix that one up. Marketing activities that are aligned together and functioning to turn strangers into clients. Now, there are two big mistakes people make here when we're starting to look at your execution of your strategy. And that is they're selecting activities that actually aren't aligned to the offer. So this is where you're doing something because somebody says you should be doing it. Oh, you need to have an Instagram account, or you need to have Facebook, and you're just selecting them because somebody said so. And maybe you're doing multiple activities, but they're not actually aligned to your particular offering. They're not helping you to bring in the right people to sign up. The other mistake is doing activities that aren't aligned to each other, which means that it's what we call the scattergun approach. So I don't know if you've ever heard of people saying scattergun marketing or spray and pray. It's kind of like all these separate singular activities that they have no alignment even to each other. So you're not even leveraging the time you spend on one that's helping the next one to be successful. And there's always that person with a fail-proof method that makes you believe that you should be seeing success from each single thing that you're doing, which is often what is behind these mistakes. It's the reason why people are making the mistakes is because they have heard somebody say, well, I just did this one thing and it is the entire solution that you need. But every business has multiple activities. And you do require a number of them to be working together in order to create a sale. Just like an engine has many parts, needs the parts all together and working together and functioning for the engine to run. So how many clients or leads are we missing out on because there's a gap in the flow, or because they're just not aligned to the offer that you're selling? So we're attracting people, but they're not buying. So here is a high-level view of what your client generation machine actually looks like. You may have seen something like this before. This is, I guess, what you'd call your standard marketing funnel, as in the overall business funnel. So not an offer-specific funnel, but here is your overall funnel strategy. The top two are what I call your lead machines. These are the marketing pieces. And the bottom one is the sign me up system. That is your sales piece. Now you get to choose the activity for each step. When you're taking people from being strangers out there in the internet, in the cloud, the first activity that you do attracts those right people, the right fit people into your world. They become your audience. The next activity you do helps them raise their hand that they want to solve the problem that you help with. So you need to have something there, and that's often one that people are missing. And the final one enables them to sign up. So you can pick something from each box. Here I've got just some examples of what might go at each stage. And, at the top, we've got the activities that would see you reaching out to strangers, being able to be discovered by people who don't already know you. You can select things that go there. In the next box down, these are types of activities that you can select to use where somebody is going to opt in. Now, there are a few that also are in the third box because you can use them for both. So for example, a webinar people opt into, so they become known, they give their email address and name, but it also can be somewhere where you can make an offer and they can choose to sign up. Likewise with an event as well, and a call. So you can use them for multiple purposes, but you need to know what it is, what is the purpose of this activity, and if it is scaling across both boxes, are we using it correctly for both? You can even have events or audits. They can be paid lead generation activities. So someone might pay for it, but the purpose of it is to generate the lead. So, understanding what the difference is between a paid offer, as in something you're selling, and a lead generation activity that is paid, there's a different strategy that you apply for that. So it's really important to know which box they are fitting into and what is the purpose. Why are you using this activity? This is Zia, and she just said, I like to share her story because she was somebody who had found she'd burnt out on social media before. She had a lot of fear around it, was really hesitant to use it. But designing her focused marketing system meant that she knew how to use it so that she wasn't going to burn out, and she could adapt it in a way that was going to work really well for her and for her clients. So it just saved her so much time and energy and made it feel really easy to attract the right people into her world. Now you might be thinking, well, isn't something missing? We're talking marketing. We've got 3 key pieces. And yes, you are right. There is a fourth part to your strategy that instead of it being part of the wheel, it actually is the piece that binds the other 3 together. And that is your brand experience. So I've drawn it almost like the tire that's going around the outside of the wheel, which is what is needed in order to communicate the other parts. So how do you communicate your expert zone, your offers, and the way that you communicate it through the activities in your client machine. So it is absolutely required, but it is the connector for the other pieces. So there are really 3 aspects of connection and how you communicate that come into your brand experience. There's the visuals, which is the bit most people will already understand and know. When you think about brand, you usually think visual. Verbal is actually the biggest part of it. So what they hear or what they read, the words that you use, is a far bigger component of your brand experience that creates the emotional connection than the other pieces. And then we have the nonverbal, which is a lot more subtle because it's what they see and how they experience the sort of actions that you take, like how you, what you're doing and the way that you're doing it. It's almost like the vibe and the energy that you have all comes into your brand experience. So let me know if that makes sense to you. And if you've heard it like that before, I'd be really interested to hear. So when you've applied your brand experience right, and you're actually using these 3 key modalities to communicate a consistent brand with the right energy and the words that are going to help somebody to take action, then you are connecting with the right people and you're helping them to take a step forward. So as I said before, the verbal part, the messaging, is actually the most important because that's what sets the tone and it's what actually helps them to make a decision. When you're doing it right, they already want to work with you by the time they're at the point of sale. By the time they're in your sign-up system, they already want to work with you. So it becomes a transaction at that point. So have you heard that we're all suffering from decision fatigue? This is why this is so important. So on average, we're making 35,000 decisions every single day. Can you imagine that? Just deciding about the food you're eating each day alone contributes 227 decisions. So your brain is tired, that is why we're so stretched, why we feel frazzled, why you get to the Friday and you're just like, oh, I can't even think about what I want to do. I'm just going to eat out or get takeaway or something. It is an overload of the brain. And that's why you can have great offers, you can have a good system, like you can have your client generation system, the really good structure, but if they're not feeling that you're the right person to sign up with, meaning that you don't have the messaging, we're not making an emotional connection with them, then they're backing out. They're not saying yes. 95% of all buying decisions are based on emotion, and we use emotion to make that decision. How often do you go, well, I know that one over there seems logical, but I just want to choose this one. Like, if you're buying a car or sometimes even the house, I guess those are the ones that I think we often can tune into, that emotional decision. We will often know that it's the right choice, and we may not know why. Maybe it's not ticking all the boxes, but you'll just feel it. You'll be like, yes, this is the one that I'm doing. So we're making decisions emotionally, and we do that with almost everything. And your people are as well. So that's why it's not about, here are the things that I offer and here's the features list and, here are all the things that make it make sense. Like, well, if you're not evoking the emotion that's making them tune in, feel connected, understood, you've got that authority and trust that they're really connecting with. If it's not happening because you're not using the right messaging, you're not presenting things in the right way, then it's just falling flat. It's not going to work. So Jo, within a few weeks of joining Business Jam, she had made some changes to her subscription, her membership landing page, using some of the messaging structures that we have inside Business Jam, how to communicate her expertise, her expert zone, and really connect in with her ideal customer. She got a complete surprise because she hadn't had sales for a really long time, logged on just to have a look in the back end, and had found that she had a monthly subscriber and an annual subscriber who just signed up with her purely because now the messaging was connecting with them, right? So she was just thrilled because she said the messaging is working already, and she's so happy she could cry. So let's do a really quick recap. The fastest way to have a fulfilling, profitable, streamlined business in part-time hours is with premium offers and the 4 elements in your strategic framework, which are the ones that we have just been through: your expert zone, offer stack, client machine, and your brand experience. So here's the question for you. Now that you know the strategic approach to attracting quality clients that works, how much of an impact would it be to you if you started to sign them next month? For me, my entire business and life changed that moment that I chose to claim my expertise and focus on premium offers. I reached the 20K months working school hours without chasing social media trends. And I was actually living the lifestyle already that I dreamt of, that I thought I was going to be needing to wait 5 years or longer or reach $1 million business before I had it. But I was already having that lifestyle right then and there. And before I reached the 20K months, it was happening immediately once I put that strategy in place. So it meant that happened, doing it the way that felt right to me and worked for my lifestyle. And trust me, if I can do it, you can too. I'm not an expert on any sort of social platform. I kind of have a great understanding of all of them, but I wouldn't put my hand up and say I'm the world's expert on any of them. I'm not a big stage speaker, and I used to fear putting my face online as well. I had to get comfortable putting my expertise out there, becoming an authority, and learning how to position my offers, importantly, to attract the right clients. So now we've got a choice to make. You've seen your business in a different perspective, and you're sort of clear on what that different way of looking at it could be. So will you be the kind of person who goes back to doing the exact same actions that you have been and spending time on what's not working, but expecting a different result? Or will you be the type of person who understands that it's going to take a different approach to get the different result, even though it may feel a little bit scary? Will you be the sort of person who keeps on searching on Google for answers, or looking for the answer from different experts and then trying to duct tape all the pieces together, feeling more confused than ever and just hoping and praying that the magic solution appears? Or are you the type who realizes connecting your strategy together properly, while it may seem like you're slowing down, is actually the thing that's going to speed you up and help you get to your destination faster? Because if that's you and you're ready to take the key to your dream business, then I am ready to welcome you into Business Jam. I'll be delighted to welcome you into Business Jam if it's the right fit for you. So it's not a cookie cutter method or a full of fluff online course. It is a program for coaches and consultants who want to create freedom to live your life on your own terms while loving your work. And it's even if your business is referral based currently, if you don't know your niche yet, that's fine as well. And even if you think marketing isn't your thing, because it's got all of the steps and solutions that you need in there. My private clients have paid me up to 15K just over 6 months to work one-to-one on the exact same framework. This is the exact same thing that I use with my private clients. Now, inside, there are 3 ways. Is of course the messaging, because it's how we're communicating all of those other aspects together. And when we've got it right, we have people saying things like this, like, she already knew she wanted to work with me. I've just had another client sign up. It's amazing. And other people saying that I've got people asking to jump on a chat because the messaging in the social media is exactly what, she was thinking as well. So Sam said she grew her profit by 270% in 1 year. And that was, a refinement in her own value and what she had to offer. So changing up her offers and actually implementing the right messaging so that she's targeting her target client properly. Just made life a lot easier, right? So she increased her prices, but she attracted better quality clients and had a 270% increase in her revenue. So this is the part that you may have noticed in the diagram before. There's a jam in the middle, and I call this extra jam because it's not technically what's required in order to attract quality clients, but it is required to have a streamlined business to reduce your time and effort and energy. And that's looking at the technology, the automation, but more importantly, the customer experience that's happening so that your business is working like a well-oiled machine, not a clunky, dry, non-oiled machine. So those are different trainings that are inside in Business Jam as well to help you optimize your business to be more efficient. So you might be thinking, well, I can see mastering my strategy is essential, but I'm so busy. Can't I just hire somebody to do this for me? And, I'd say, well, maybe you could hire someone who might be able to do it, but I charge $7,000 a week to do this kind of consulting where I'm taking it on. And I know of brand agencies who charge up to $50K just for a rebrand of the brand. Like, they're not doing your ideal client targeting, they're not creating your offers for you, and they're definitely not setting up your marketing system. So it can be insane investments if you want to outsource it. But the real issue is nobody can actually take over this entire thing from you. They're still going to ask you to define what it is that you're selling, what you're pricing it at, all of those things. They are going to want you to do that work. So there isn't any way to get around it. You want to run a business, you've got to be responsible for your own strategy. And honestly, nobody else knows your business, your expertise, and your ideal clients like you do. The reason why it may be feeling hard right now is simply that you just haven't had the right questions to answer and the right structure and framework in order to make the decisions and the understanding of how the pieces work together. Now, just at the end there, you heard me starting to talk and introduce a little bit about my program, Business Jam. Now, Business Jam is not the program for everyone by a long way. It is certainly not for anybody who's looking for, a magic pill, an overnight quick fix solution, thinking that they can just do some simple action and it's going to, boom, create the business of their dreams. Now, you and I probably both know that, yes, it's going to take some action, of course, but it will also take some decisions and a really smart strategy in order to have the kind of results that we've been talking about. So there are no magic pills. Sorry, we're here, you're in business. Business is a long game. It is definitely not something that you click your fingers and it happens overnight. So if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, then it's definitely not for you. But if you're the type of person who's really coachable, who's open to being coached, to hearing and receiving insights, open to looking at their business differently, making some changes maybe to some things that you have been doing, because let's face it, what got you to where you are today probably isn't going to be the right thing to get you to your next stage. So if you're that kind of person, and you're also somebody who has integrity as a high value, meaning that if you say you're going to do something, you actually go ahead and do it, then you're the sort of person who really succeeds, who flourishes and thrives in a program like Business Jam, because you absolutely will get the clarity on what it is that you need to do. And really, then it's up to you to go ahead and do it. So let's talk a little bit more about it. We've got a 12-month program here. And right now, if you're listening to me speaking and this episode has just been released, then I've just opened what I call early access to the 2025 program that's kicking off in January. But I've opened it up for just some people who happen to be connected with me right now to step forward in December and come in on this special early access offer. Now, what that is, I'm not going to let on right here, but you can go and find that out. Head to jessicaosborne.com/businessjam. Find out about the early access, because you can actually enroll and get in there ahead of everybody else and start making progress on your strategy before the first hot seat call that's happening at the start of the year. So it is incredible. And this early access is certainly something I'm not going to be doing ever again, which is why I'm not telling you about it here on the podcast, just so that future students don't get sad when they hear what an incredible deal they missed out on. So you can head over to jessicaosborne.com, Business Jam, and find out more about that now. Now, Business Jam, as what I said, has been designed as a 12-month program because we've got hot seat calls happening every week, and I've got a schedule of live workshops that run throughout the year, as well as the pre-recorded framework in the content that you can go through at your own pace. So that's really exciting. But it allows you to take this program on at your own pace. You know, if life gets thrown upside down this week, it doesn't matter. You just pick up and continue where you left off, and you're never ever behind, because everybody is going at their own pace, which means people are at different stages. The beauty of that means that, you know, you're moving as fast as you want to be, and or as slow as you want to be, because fast doesn't always work for everybody. You're able to implement and test, review, optimize, all within that time frame. So with that 12 months, it really gives you the time to design, implement, and optimize your strategy that is tailored for your business. It's the best fit for you, and that you know is going to be the thing that can support your growth over the next few years, until you can make another adjustment because you've already maxed out at that level that you reach. So that's exciting. And what's in Business Jam actually helps you to develop and continue developing and evolving your strategy to reach for higher and higher and higher levels. What's in there is absolutely relevant and beneficial to you, whether you've already been in business for 10, 15, 20 years, or if you're in your first year of business and you really want to hit the ground running with your strategy. You know, this is what I call the foundational parts, and you can make it as simple or as complex as what suits you. So that's really the beauty of it. And that's it really from me today. So thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed the episode today and, you know, the sneak preview into that live class that I shared with you. I love teaching so much. Love teaching live. There's so much more inside Business Jam. We literally just scraped a little bit off the surface today to give you a taster. I hope you enjoyed it. So I will tune in again next week with another new episode for you here on She's the Business. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you.